I'm Scott Al Miller, and this Thursday night, that means it is time for the Thursday Night Live here in Nicaragua. Welcome to the show, and sorry that we have to use the on-camera mic again. All kinds of problems with the Streamer X has half died. We're getting audio and video through it, so it hasn't completely died, but it's not doing what it's supposed to do. I'm going to turn on my other light, which I oddly forgot to put on. I knew I needed to, and it's not there, but I know people are just joining, so I'm just going to keep talking and get that working. But my good microphone does not work until we get this figured out, so I'm probably going to have to get support going or something with these guys, because it's funny because it lights up and says, yeah, I've got power, I'm the mic, but it doesn't actually start working, so I'm talking up there. I also completely destroyed one of my lenses this week. All kinds of great stuff, yeah. So that's been less than perfect, but that's what we got going on. That's what we got going on. So we're just waiting for you guys to jump on, say hi, get going. We got 5 people watching, so we do have stuff going on. I have not gotten the word out yet. I don't even have WhatsApp loaded. So working on that. And letting everybody know. Monkey Man is here. First one, hello from Merida. Which Merida? From Merida, Nicaragua on Ometepe, or Merida, Mexico out on the Yucatan? Inquiring minds want to know. Or another Merida. There's a Merida in like every country, so that's a popular one. We got 7 people on. Oh, the big one, Merida, Mexico. So wait, do you work for me? I have a big office there. That's my main Mexican office is in Merida, and our CEO is raised in Cancun, born in Merida. Her family is Merida, but lived there for a long time. Lucas here. Hola and alaho, y'all. Boy, seeing hola and alaho, just my brain can't handle it. Aloha. Toss the Ripper on right away. Hey, Scott, good to see you. Out of curiosity, what's your WhatsApp number? Could you type it in chat so we can catch up? It's been a while since I've deleted Telegram. Yeah, I know. Not on Telegram. What the heck? Marcela needs something. I've got sometimes she sends medical things and I don't know what she is saying. My translation capacity definitely goes down when I start. Aloha. Yes, I know the word. Hola doble. Tusk, I don't know what a good way to send that is. I could hold up the QR code up to the camera. Up to the camera. This is not the camera, that's a screen. Up to the camera and let people scan it. I don't really want to throw my phone number on the chat. Tusk, can you join the WhatsApp of Nicaragua group, and then not the WhatsApp of Nicaragua, Expats of Nicaragua group? I'll let you in there, and then you'll automatically get my WhatsApp. Luke is still riding the afterglow of a good pizza. I don't know. Chicago style pizza does not entice me in any way. I want to try the pizza from there, but the Chicago doesn't do it. Yeah, Tusk, send an email. You can use my email. Do you have my email? Oh yeah, it's in the chat. Or in the show notes. Yes, do that, and then I can send you the WhatsApp. We got 10 people on. Things are getting rolling. We're getting this happening. I am going to open some stuff and have work going on in the background while we do the show today, because sometimes you guys get quiet and I can get work done. So it's a good combination. What platform is the group on? It's a WhatsApp group. So it's on WhatsApp. The link, Tusk, is in the show notes. It says like WhatsApp. I think you actually just click it and just takes you to the WhatsApp group. And then I should get a notification. Got some hiccups. I wanted wine for tonight, but there just wasn't any. So I have a Pepsi. It's Far Cry. My dad's here. Hey, Dad. Tuska's. Oh, that was her. Luke says, "Hello, Padron Miller." So my good mic is broken for no fault of my own, and my good lens is also broken, totally my fault. See if we can get a shot of it. Yeah, $2,000 camera hit the tile. That was fun. That was, yeah, all kinds of happy about that. But the camera itself, you gotta be happy because we're on it, and this is how well it survived hitting tile. So other than that, and I'm not even 100% sure that lens is dead, but I've definitely got to take pliers to it and rip the front off and see what we can do. Luke says, tonight's theme art, Paintballin' Primates. I like that better than Monkeys Playing Paintball. That's a good title. But yes, that is what it is, for sure. I just noticed we accidentally have the camera on 4K, which is not what I want. I'm going to change that in just a second, so we may blip out. And my mic is attached. For those who have not done this, when we're on this secondary mic, if I lose power or anything happens with the camera, the mic cuts out. And so if it goes blank, normally I've got the good mic and everything just keeps going. But with this, I've got to switch batteries and stuff and all kinds of things, and it goes dead. Like the audio goes dead when the screen goes blank. So sorry, just a warning that is likely to happen. Port City Investments. So LEòN is the spot, obviously. Or Managua. I spoke to a friend and he said Managua was great for single male travelers in terms of meeting other young professionals. So yeah, if you want to meet other young professionals, right, being in a bigger place where more people are working is definitely going to be more likely the thing. But let me take care of the camera real quick and we'll be right back. I mean, I'm still here. I'm going to keep talking, but I think the audio is going to cut out while I do this. I also want to edge this down just ever so slightly. There we go. And fingers crossed. It freaks. Oh, no. I think we're good. Audio's still there. All right. Not so bad. I didn't have to shut it off or anything. I just had to. Oh, it's even brighter. Why is it so much brighter? Why does it look so much better? Oh, I think it opened up the aperture because it's a completely different setting. I don't even know. I think this is vlog as opposed to movie, and this is the one I have set to 1080p, and the other one set to 4K. They're on the same color profile, but the vlog automatically opens the aperture all the way because it's on like blur the background setting. But at an f1.2, we're bright. But also I edged it down, so there's a lot more of me. Maybe that's it. It's just all the light coming off my head. So LEòN really is laid back. It's true. If you want to meet other professionals and young ones, we're not a good place. I mean, it's a good place if you want to meet like Nicaraguan university students, right? Because we're a university town and a party town. So it's really good for that. But if you want to meet like expats that are coming into Nicaragua for business, we are not the spot at all. I'm trying to think of anyone, like finding anyone under 40 in the expat community here is hard. LEòN definitely has a dip of age group in the like 30 to 50 range, and so it's got a lot of younger like students. And then early, not yet into their career professionals, and then it kind of tanks, and then it goes up as you get like retirees and families, because we're kind of far flung. Now we're the second biggest city, right? So you don't have like a huge dip, right? We still have a lot of jobs compared to a lot of cities, but we're not a career center and we're not a manufacturing center other than Yazaki. But so I think you find places like Matagalpa will have more of that mid-range where the students aren't going there. It's not a university town, so you have a dip. Those students come here, and then when they return home, so a lot of them go to Managua, and then a lot of others just go back to where they're from. And so you get an upshift at the 25 to 29 range. But the majority of your working professionals are going to be Managua, and the majority of your under 40s expats are probably going to be Managua too, right? Because it's just where things happen. Like LEòN's great. We have a good nightlife scene. We've got good music. We've got okay food. But the amount that you can go out and do things in Managua is just orders of magnitude bigger, right? It's 4 to 5 times the population of LEòN, the second biggest city here. So it really is different. And like beach life in Nicaragua is an older thing, right? It's like where you go. I just looked over at the camera. My eyes were like all wonky. I'm like, I must have just caught the moment before they like lined up. So like going to the beach and all that stuff here, that in like the United States, you'd be like, yeah, a bunch of young professionals going to the beach. Here, it happens, but it's not the majority. It's much more family stuff going to beaches. So even though we're a beach town and Managua isn't, that does not lend itself to the younger crowd. The younger professional crowd in that 25 to 40 range, I guess is where you'd put that, is going to be going out to rock concerts, going out dancing, going out to reggaeton, going out to the theater, going out to that kind of stuff, and raising kids. A lot of people definitely want to go out to the smaller towns, but a lot of people want to raise their kids in Managua, right? They're young, they want to work, they want their kids to have more opportunities. The really good schools are in Managua. It's just there's a lot of that. Ooh, I've missed people. I mean, I always miss you guys. But I mean, I haven't seen the messages. Hold on. There's tonight's theme, so LEòN. Tusk says, have you seen Alien Earth? The first 2 episodes? I've not. The first 2 episodes premiered on Tuesday. Oh, no, I definitely don't see anything that quick. I'm way too old and slow for that. It's really good. It takes place 2 years before Alien, and it's why the Nostromo was rerouted to LV-426 in Alien. Oh, cool. Oh, it's part of the Alien franchise. Okay, no, I'll definitely check that out. I'll probably look for that while we're on the show. And my dad will be like, yes, because anything I get, he automatically gets. Id Group is here. Hey, Scott. Hey, Id. Id. MBA's here. Long time no see. How's it going? I'm doing all right, other than the whole destroyed lens thing. I'm very sad about this. Oh, because I'm on vlog mode, it's really hard to get. Oh, no, there's a good shot of it. Yeah, you can really see. Yeah, that's some serious damage. AV is excellent tonight. I'm speaking up. I've got it cranked, the audio cranked, and I'm speaking loud to try to make up for it. Leo, how's the opening of multiple Chinese stores in different departmentos affecting small business owners? So I'm a bad one to know because the type of business owners that are impacted are the kind we never interact with, or very, very rarely. So I can't tell you all the details. I know that some people complain for sure. We hear people that are like, oh, it's so terrible. I know someone who had, their shop closed or this or that. And that stuff has to be true, right? You can't bring in a limited economy market, you can't bring in new shopping without impacting old shopping, right? We don't have unlimited money. We don't just shop more, right? The money wasn't just sitting idle waiting for new stores. So that money is coming from places that people were shopping previously. So there is an impact. Every purchase at a Chinese store is coming out of an older establishment. That's reality. Same as if Walmart comes into a town and wipes out the mom and pa's on Main Street. Walmart didn't make new shopping, they replaced old shopping, right? So that's going to happen. However, the Chinese stores generally have a lot of, they have some unique things, and the stuff is really cheap, which is why they're doing well. So overall, the population seems to be getting more for their money. So we're seeing deflation in that sense, that we simply can buy more for less throughout the country. So the average Nicaraguan seems to be benefiting overall, which is why it happens. If they weren't, they would just keep shopping at the old places. So what it's pushing is it's pushing for competition. If there were more jobs, I think it would be overall a very good thing because we are short on jobs and we're trying to figure out how to keep people busy. It creates problems. However, most of those Chinese stores create jobs. Not necessarily as many as they displace. So it's hard to say. What we are definitely seeing is a shift, right? We're seeing a shift from the people who had stores in the past to different people who have stores now. But I think we're also to some degree seeing what we saw with Walmart, right? I grew up around small towns. My dad lives in a small town. He lives directly behind a Walmart. When I was a kid, that Walmart wasn't there. Instead, we had a main street full of garbage shops that charged an arm and a leg, didn't treat their employees with respect if they hired anyone at all, and didn't do any good for the community. But because there was nowhere else to go, they managed to stay in business. Now, that wasn't a good thing. That's much more extreme. I'm not saying that's happening here. But there was this, you were trapped because there was just so little business that you couldn't actually have good stores. And there was no incentive for them to be good. There was no competition. Once competition came in, Walmart was able to pay better and provide way more selection on like 1,000 times better. Like, I'm not kidding. And way better prices. So, of course, everyone switched to shopping at Walmart, and everyone switched to working at Walmart, right? Everyone wanted to work at Walmart. And, of course, when you talk to Americans, they're like, Walmart's terrible. They treat their employees, blah, blah, blah. When you come from small-town America, I can tell you Walmart treats them better than the Main Street people, typically, right? Those people they have 2 employees. They're not beholden to all those laws to protect employees and stuff. Again, none of this applies here. But you really was that everything got better with Walmart, and all those places that went out of business needed to go out of business. They were not helping the economy. They were not servicing their communities. They were not positive members of the economy or the culture. Yeah, they're pretty, having little useless shops on Main Street. It's part of the idyllic fantasy we have of small town America. I get it. Slight snowfall on quiet streets with twinkling lights on Main Street. Hardly anyone shopping. You meander into a little store. You're the only one there. The owner, who's had nothing to do all day, comes and helps you decide on a Christmas sweater and a new ornament for your tree. You spend thousands of dollars because you have unlimited money in Fantasyland, and the person who works there has to make an entire day's wage off of you buying one thing. So you have to spend more than an entire day's wage to go shopping there just to keep the place in business. It sounds wonderful. It's mathematically pointless. So that's why that doesn't work. Yeah, it's beautiful because it doesn't make sense with something like Walmart to change that. So the same thing is happening here, right? Suddenly shopping is starting to make a lot more sense, and to be honest, a lot of these Chinese stores do not make a ton of sense, right? They have weird stuff that no one needs, but people are excited because it's new, right? So we're going to see some shuffling, we're going to see some things change, but I think what's going to happen mostly is that places that were not managing to remain competitive, that were just old and hanging on and gouging, or just not being really great with some value, are going to collapse. A whole bunch of places are going to adapt, right? They were doing a good job, but now they have some competition in specific areas, and now they're going to switch some things so that they do something else, right? Oh, I was a plastic store. I sold bins. And I could still sell bins. My prices are good, but the Chinese store sells them at the exact same price and people are already there. I can't compete with that. Now I'm going to sell, I don't know. They're going to spend some time doing market research and come up with something else to sell, and they'll be okay, right? So we're going to see some shuffling in that way. And then some places are going to benefit. A few will go out of business. At the end of the day, I think the Nicaraguan consumer is going to win, which is how it works, right? That's what happened in the U.S. We're going to see it happen here. But tons of people complain about the Walmarts in the U.S. But pay attention. Mostly the people who are complaining about the Walmart are not the people in the community, and they're not the people shopping, and they're not the people working. They were the people who were taking advantage of the lack of the Walmart. Right, and they're upset that they can't take advantage anymore, and now they're expected to work and earn a living like all the other people and not just being handed things. It doesn't apply to everyone, right? There's some honest people doing a good job, trying to run nice stores at good value for people and actually providing community value, who are going to be impacted by the Chinese stores. Economy is hard. Things change. We all have to adapt. Winners and losers are often random. It is what it is, right? But we can't stop progress because change is negative to somebody, right? It was negative change to somebody that got everyone in the position they're in now. We don't avoid doing what we're doing now because of that reason. We're not going to avoid what we're going to do in the future. There's just, we can't predict all that stuff. It is. I think overall the Chinese stores are going to be good, especially as Nicaragua's economy grows. There's going to be more and more a need for low-cost products And I think a ton of the Chinese stores are going to go out of business. And importantly, if you go to places with relatively healthy shopping and healthy main streets and stuff, Europe, Chinese stores are everywhere. And that's what they call them, Chinese stores. We call them, in America, right, we call them Family Dollar. We call them Dollar Tree and all that. That's all that is. Those are just Chinese stores, right? We just call them, we come from a 5 and dime. Now we call them a $1 and $5 store, whatever. Dollar, that's where all those names come from. But in all those cases, those are Chinese stores. So in Europe, they just call them Chinese stores. I'm going to go to the Chinese. That's what they say in a lot of countries. And you're like, what? And then you go and you're like, oh, it's a Chinese-owned 5 and dime. Everything's super cheap. Okay, I guess. All right. So that's, I think you're going to find that that it plays out much like that in Europe, and it's going to be fine. It's just going to take a while to shuffle it out. Tusk says, I'm guessing the xenomorph will die at the end of Alien Earth in a way that its genetic material can't be recovered. So that's why the Nostromo was rerouted and Ash, the android, was placed aboard. That makes sense. Luke says, Eid group, I had a Chicago deep dish finally. I normally order their Nika pizza, chorizo, chitoma, onion, black bean, and jalapeno black bean? Haven't convinced me on that one yet. MBA says, Scott, how do you traditionally find flights to places that don't traditionally connect to Canada and the U.S.? Places like Havana or Caracas. Does Managua have direct flights to Caracas? We do not. We're really sad about it, and we think it's really dumb. I'm sure they have a reason for it, but to us, we don't know what it is. We do have Conviasa, the flag carrier of Venezuela, is one of our largest airlines coming into, or largest flights coming into Nicaragua. So we sit there on the runway and see the Caracas plane come in. We're like, it's right there, but it only goes to Havana. So it's like, na 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 boo boo. We're like, but we want to go to Caracas. So it's oh wait, just real quick. Speaking of Chinese things, this is not a Chinese thing, but my wife is currently stuck at Grupo Q in Managua because we have a car from Grupo Q. We have a Cherry, and I don't even know why it's there. Maybe we're getting some repair done. We did have someone hit us, like a bicycle. Like, it's a scratch, right? But it'll rust if you don't take care of it. So I don't know if that's why they took it in, or if they're doing something. I know there's some problem with the USB port. Maybe they're doing that. I don't know. But it's annoying because it's right downtown in Managua, and it's a little bit much. And it's fine. We love the car. But it's a problem. Anyway, she just said, because she's stuck there and she's really annoyed that she's been there all day, Grupo Q is opening in Chinandega next month. So awesome. Which does show we're not getting them here in LEòN, right? We're twice the size of Chinandega here. We're not getting the car dealership they are. That's how much richer Chinandega is than LEòN. But hopefully they put it in right next to all the restaurants we like. We do like Chinandega for food. So flights. How do we search for them? So we're a small airport, right? We're a small country, small airport. We know every airline and every city that we fly to from here. So if I'm looking for airline flights, and I do have a video already made that's coming out this week. It's like how to fly to South America from Nicaragua, so watch for that. But it doesn't address, well, it does. We have direct flights to Panama City, San Jose, Havana, San Salvador, Ciudad de Mexico, Miami, and Houston. That's it. Those are our direct flights international. And so it's easy to know what is going on as far as flights. And it's really easy to know who to fly because every place has one except for Miami, right? Panama is Copa. Havana is Conviasa. I can't think of their name. Sansa is San Jose. Avianca is San Salvador. Aeromexico is Ciudad de Mexico. Miami is Spirit, Avianca, and American. And Houston is United. That's it. Those are your flights. Those airlines, those cities. And so then knowing a little bit of where, Oh, but Havana has direct connections on Turkish to Istanbul. Well, that's super useful, right? And Conviasa has connections from Havana to Caracas. Okay, that's super useful, but they don't have a direct, right? So some of those things you just have to, you kind of have to learn a little bit, but once you know that, then you can put them all together. And big things for me is we're about to get Iberia, about to get, meaning they announced it, which will give us direct flights to Madrid. And Avianca will fly us to their hubs in San Salvador or in Bogota. Copa's hub is Panama City, and LATAM launches from San Jose. So if you can get to San Jose, then you can fly to their hub in Lima and go to places from there. Those are kind of the big ones to know if you're looking to fly someplace that isn't the U.S. If you're flying to the U.S., your options are plentiful, but pretty much things you would know, right? You're not going to be surprised by it. Brent says, Eid says IID. Nope, I'm calling you Eid. Not going to do it. Brent says, are you back driving? I am. How about walking around? I haven't been walking around a ton, mostly because I'm so busy. Our CEO found out that I can actually develop software and is really excited, and she's been going crazy, and she's basically just throwing tasks at me like crazy. So for the last month and a half, I've been quite literally 120 hours a week coding. Easy. Like, not even kidding. Like, I'm really... I'm still coding at 2, 3 a.m. and I'm back at it at 7 a.m. Like, but we're turning out some really cool stuff. Like, it's going really well. She's very excited about the progress we're making and what it's showing our team and what it means for the future of the company. And we got a lot of demos. Yesterday, a new product went into production internally, which is very exciting. So it's like really good stuff. But that's kept me from going out and doing stuff. I do have a plan, hopefully the car makes it back from the shop, to go and actually get out and do some stuff, both driving and walking, possibly this week. But I am at this point able to drive and able to walk, which is a miracle that I have both of those under my belt at the moment. But yeah, I'm doing pretty well. Id Group says, although everyone says id as in id, ego, super ego, but there's 2 I's, so it's id to me. Tom Lynch, is satellite internet legal? No. For example, Starlink. Starlink doesn't exist here, first of all. But no, there's no legalized satellite in the country. It's not that satellite as a category is illegal. It's that all these things have registrations that need to be done, and there's just not a lot of capacity. Like, why would someone want satellite in Nicaragua? Obviously, somebody wants satellite in Nicaragua, right? We've got all this, like, jungle zone. And if you guys watch, like, Elton, like, he's got one, and he lives in the jungle half the time, right? So those situations do exist, and it is nice when you have those options, but it's incredibly few and far between. Even Rio Blanco and other, like, small settlements way out in the middle of nowhere have great fiber and copper options. So wanting satellite just isn't really much of a thing. Most people who are in a situation where they're like, oh, I think I want satellite, they bought a place knowing that it had no internet, or they bought a place with no care whatsoever whether or not it had internet. And that's a weird combination. But if you do that, right, it's not like there's a whole bunch of Nicaraguans who are like, oh, we wish we had internet, but we don't have any. It's all expats who are like, I'm buying this place and I could care less if I'm connected to the world. And then once they're there, they're like, oh, being disconnected sucks. And then they want to fix it. Well, that's not a group that gets a lot of sympathy, and they don't tend to put in a lot of effort to get things fixed, and they don't tend to do research. And that's a bad combination for getting things done. So satellite doesn't really have a lot of demand. Almost everyone who says they want it don't actually, they're just confused. Elton certainly does want it, right? Like, he has a special case and he knows what he's doing. And if you're way out in the jungle, yeah, certainly they'd be better. But there's no satellite providers that officially service Nicaragua, especially not Starlink. They went out of their way not to. So if you do anything with satellite here, there's no guarantee from your carrier that it's going to work. And we've heard rumors that Starlink works at the borders but not in the interior. Just a rumor. People do smuggle them in. So they exist. People have tried it. And for some people, it works okay. right? But that's kind of where things are with that. So, but then the question is, what's making you interested in satellite, right? Before we moved here, we thought we would want satellite too. Then we got here and we're like, no, why would we have wanted that? But people, just like people try to convince people who've never been here that it's dangerous or it's expensive, same lines, they try to convince you that our roads are bad or that we don't have internet. It's exactly the opposite. We have way better internet and internet penetration than the U.S. No, that's not an indictment of the U.S. The U.S. is a big place with lots of open space. The U.S. has open desert space larger than all of Nicaragua contiguous, right? So that's hard. I grew up in New York, right? We have the Adirondacks. That's just a wasteland. Maine has the 100-mile wilderness. Those places are hard to get internet to. So kudos to the U.S. for getting internet where it has. Okay, but Nicaragua is a small place. We have fiber, right? So we're in good shape. Typically. So if you are not here, what's making you interested in satellite here? Especially as it's slow and expensive. Eid says, Luke, that sounds awesome. Brent says, I was wondering if China is involved in the Coastal Highway Project. I have heard that they are not. They're involved in an awful lot of projects. I do not believe they're involved in that one. If you ask anyone casually, they'll say they're involved in everything, right? Including things that don't exist most of the time. But I'm pretty sure that one's just Nicaragua. Also because of the time. Any news on the canal project? Yes, it is officially not existing. Luke says there is no canal project. Corey says, hello from Detroit. Eid says, for the folks who live in LEòN, Granada, or Managua, are there tennis courts, public or private? I love to play tennis and always making sure I have a place to play. Ooh, I have seen tennis courts, but I don't know where they are. I'm going to say the only place you're likely to find them is Managua or enclaves. I'm sure some enclaves have them, because why wouldn't they? But other than that, it's got to be just Managua. I can't even fathom who else would have it. I've never seen someone play tennis. I've never seen a tennis racket. Nothing like that. Great sport. Love tennis. There should be more of it here. Haven't seen it. Eid says, I took a direct from San Salvador to Managua on Avianca. It was less than an hour flight and it was super easy. The last time I did it, they did it in 40 minutes. It was so fast. I'm just like, oh, there goes my hotel, and we're landing, right? But it's a great, if you sit on the right-hand side, you can totally see my places from that flight path. Luke says, first lag of the night, 4 seconds. Larry says, your man Hamad calls me every day to find out when your falafel video goes international. Ooh, I forgot. Yeah, it's in my list of, videos I file. I've got to get that out. If he brings it to Matagalpa, I'll do a video as long as he wants. Oh, the falafel. Yes. Larry says, I think I sent you an advert for fishing contest August 24th in Jiquillo, sponsored by Jiquillo Beach Hotel. Alan is admin. You did. I do believe I have that. I also need to say, I don't have all the information. I do have a Facebook link. I'm going to throw it up. We are helping with the... we normally help with the spay and neuter drive for the animals in Las Piñitas. There is a free clinic there that helps out with the beach dogs and the community dogs and stuff and cats that can't get all the medical care that they need. We are helping with a cancer drive. There are some animals that need cancer care, and there's just no one to take care of them. So they've got the animals selected, and we're doing a raffle on the beach, and I'm going to do a live, we think, on September 1st from the clinic, which is a Monday, so it'll be a different time to go live, but we're raising funds and awareness to help out with getting cancer treatments, because a lot of times it's only like $30 for a cancer treatment, and a lot of these animals only need 1 to 3 treatments, so we're able to save a life for very little. But the owners either can't do it, or a lot of them are beach dogs and have no one to do it for them. And so we've got, I don't know why this is not copying and pasting. That is really annoying. There we go. That is the Facebook for the Talla Maya Defensa Animal in Las Piñitas, and you can help support them through there. You can reach out to them, get raffles, whatever. There is stuff being given away on the beach, like nights on the beach and stuff. We're going to be doing 7 p.m. broadcasting from Casa Esmeralda in Las Piñitas. So something cool to be able to help out and make a difference. with the animals there. So very excited about that. And Jillian from the show is the one who runs that. What was the question? Larry, I think it's in your... Tom says, is there access to Amazon or Temu? So I've got an Amazon video that shows exactly how to get Amazon. Like, we get it just as easy as the US, right? It all depends on how you ask it. You asked it well. So is there access to it? Absolutely. The thing that most people ask is, does Amazon ship there? The answer is no, but it doesn't matter because it shows up here. It's just not Amazon. But yeah, it's really easy. Tom says, visited 2 years ago and plan on retiring to Nicaragua. Awesome. So if you're getting Temu, that currently ships through the US, so it's a pain. Amazon is in the US, so of course it ships from the US. But Temu goes from China to the US to here right now. That's dumb, obviously. We have new routes coming directly from China, like boats, but getting all the little things shipping on them is not yet worked out. So right now, no, you can't get Temu in a really good way. You can get it, but you can't get it in a really good way. But that is going to change, we think, pretty soon. And then you'll be like, oh, this is fantastic. All these things come directly from China, and it's way better. And we're all waiting for that. For example, I buy my lenses directly from China and have them shipped to the US and then to here, which now would be a great time to get one directly from China now that this one dropped and shattered. Larry says, this is our shawarma guy is opening a shawarma restaurant in Chinandega next month. Right next to Group OQ, perhaps. That'll be a perfect time. Drop off our car for maintenance, pick up some shawarma. He's also here in LEòN, but we don't have a car dealership next to where he is. Only the AM PM. Rocco says, so excited to find a live stream. Well, welcome. Planning on a visit in September. Awesome. Any good advice on finding a rental property? By the way, thank you for what you're doing. Absolutely, you're welcome. So rental properties are going to be heavily dependent on where you are. However, a little bit of general, just everything, right? There's nothing to look at online for the most part. Once you're here and understand like the neighborhoods and stuff, then looking on like Facebook Marketplace can work. Don't be discouraged if it's not the go-to place. Everything is done on foot, walking around, asking people. You're not going to find a rental fast in most situations. Rentals are just a little bit difficult, but they exist, and you can find some amazing deals. And although prices are going up, my place that was $180, we gave it up a few weeks ago. They're now asking $220 for the same place. Now I have had it for a couple of years. I did have a couple places with them. I'm sure you can talk them down, but it's not as cheap as it was. But then again, the dollar isn't what it was either. So you know. But definitely, San Juan del Sur. San Juan del Sur is a bit different. So there's a lot of rentals in San Juan del Sur. Like the ratio is completely different, and they will have some things online. I would still say you probably want to show up, drive around to get to know the village a little bit, because there's like the downtown, the 16 as it's called, and then there's the waterfront, and then there's the neighboring village, and then there's the outside stuff, and there's some neat stuff that isn't San Juan del Sur, but it's like 2 minutes away in different places. So it's even San Juan del Sur is so dynamic compared to what you're used to in other countries. I don't know, I can't quite figure out why that is, but like, you can be like on the water in San Juan del Sur, and that's really cool. Or you can be in the village, and that's really cool. Or up on the mountains, and that's really cool. Or around the backside of the mountain, and that's really cool for a different reason. And you just get these like little communities, and they're tiny, of course, but there's some really cool stuff in different spots. And sometimes you want to explore and really get a feel. And if you look at apartments online or early or whatever, even if you're able to find decent information, which is pretty tough, you're not going to have the parts that matter, right? Like, so I was talking, this is going back 5-6 years. 6 years, 2019. I was talking to some people who were living in San Juan del Sur, and they had been there for a while, and they were going every 6 months to a different mountain, south side, east side, north side, back side, because every single, just switching those little bits, was a different community, a completely different commute into the village. Totally different roads, totally different airflow. They'd be like, oh, this place we lived, you had to have air conditioning and all this stuff, but you were right in the village. And then this other place we lived, like, if you didn't close the windows, it would blow everything you owned out the other window. It was so much wind, but you never needed air conditioning. We never once turned it on. And you're like, wow, those are like very different stories And these are like houses that could practically see each other. I mean, some distance away, but like right there. And those are not things you're going to get that you're not going to get from a listing, right? And it could easily be worth. And a lot of things list as San Juan del Sur that are not San Juan del Sur at all, because it's a popular name. Things that are hours away will sometimes slap their name on it and just be like, "Ha ha, fooled you." So you gotta be careful with that too. So yours is Rocco. I had a coworker whose son was Rocco, with the same spelling. Come on, dog. Sorry, just getting my dog. There he is. You're coming with me. Yeah, you're gonna be on the show so I can prove why I got up. Yeah. Ooh, we're gonna run into stuff. There we go. Here he is. This is Clive. Yeah. Hi. He likes to be held, but I don't think that's why he's here. Huh. Oh, you're a good boy. You went down. You're going to go sleep with your sister. Okay. Okay, you be good. Only option for falafel or shawarma in Metagalpa is El Arabe, and last visit they had neither. Yeah, they didn't last time I was there either in Messiah. Oh, jeez. There goes... Everybody hear the fireworks? We're on the not as good mic, but I bet you guys can hear that. Now the dogs are upset. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Now he's at my feet, shaking. And the big girl's here, leaning up against me. They hate fireworks. This is the Asuncion. Janet's here. Hey there, I just got back from walking Tommy and Osa, and now I have a class, if she doesn't cancel, and maybe one more, but really maybe, but then we have to go out to the Gritaria, I think. Yeah, that's what you're hearing. There, and these poor dogs, I can't go anywhere. I've got very sad dogs. Oh. You know it's bad when the little one is scared. He normally doesn't have any problem. The big one's scared of everything. Rocco. Leo says, are properties still expensive or more affordable in El Valero, to my knowledge? Yeah, to my knowledge, still affordable. Definitely more than around them. But of all places, and this is obviously very personal and not some like grand information, right? If I was going to be in something that felt like an enclave or like a really overly developed kind of area and I was willing to shell out more money for it, Valero is exactly where I would go. Valero is freaking fantastic, that I know of. Obviously, I haven't lived there. I have not bought a property there. I don't know what hidden problems they may have, but I can tell you, driving around it, Valero's pretty amazing. It's very remote, so be aware, but it does have good paved roads all the way to it. It has a beautiful beach of its own. It has beautiful building lots. It has... really good restaurants and hotels and activities, and it's close to things that are nice, but it's also close to like open space and small town stuff. And most importantly, all that description is like, okay, the thing that makes it unique is that it feels like an enclave. It feels like a modern American or European development with really fancy stuff, and to the best of my knowledge, it is 100% Nicaraguan. Right? It is a totally different thing. You go to the restaurants there, I have never seen an expat. Not one. Not an expat with a Nika family, not a little table of expats, nothing. Except for me, obviously. That's it. It is a Nika place. They advertise to Nikas, they don't advertise to expats. They don't have menus for expats, they don't have activities for expats. It's a Nika place. That makes it super interesting that it's like an upscale quirky Managua neighborhood relocated to a beach in southern Leon. And so for that reason, I like it a lot. Like if, you know, it's a more expensive spot for sure. You're definitely going to be paying more than you are in like Leon, right? Or in Las Penitas. Like there's just no way that it's and it's not going to be a bit more, right? It's a very different place, but it's a completely polished, the entire thing. All of Valero is inside a private gate with security guards, right? When we parked in the parking lot at Valero, a security guard drove us to a restaurant in a golf cart, right? Like, it's a very different experience than you get other places. So that's really unique and special, and it's I'm just reading the news. Apparently, something's going on. Oh, something about the borders. Did Cambodia and Thailand just go to war? That doesn't seem likely. I think they're just arguing. Now I lost the conversation. But Valero's really beautiful. That could be a really great spot. Rocco says, "Hola, Clive." He's between my feet now, the poor little boy. Luke says, "Hey, Scott, for this target audience, can I mail medications from North America to Nicaragua? I was asked twice today." Just so everyone knows, mailing medications is a crime, and a pretty big one in the U.S. So be aware that you might get away with it, but it is getting away with it. And you could get into big trouble in the U.S., you could get into big trouble in Nicaragua. So just be aware. How far is the airport from Managua to LEòN? So the airport's in northeastern Managua. So if you're looking at a map, it's on the lake on the very east side. And it's currently got some construction. So right now, it's a good extra 20 minutes compared to what it will be soon. They have a new overpass, big road that's going to speed things up and fix traffic a lot. But right now, there's construction, so it's the opposite. Our record, so I live on the west side of LEòN, right? Like I live towards the beach. Going from the airport, middle of the night, before any speed limits are applied, we managed to cross Managua, cross the open countryside, cross the city of LEòN, all the way out of LEòN, out into the beach road, and get to our place in 74 minutes. So it's not physically that far, but for most people, driving from the airport to LEòN under normal conditions at normal speeds, you're looking at just about 2 hours. And if there's traffic, it's easy to hit 3. So that's kind of, traffic is really been a big thing. Oh, Jan says my class canceled.
That's a revolution in LEòN.
Yeah.
Did you hear all of the fireworks?
Yeah, it's a lot. It's the Gritaria.
Yeah,
Gutera or whatever. Yeah, the dogs are very scared. Although apparently, we're just talking about this on the live stream, Thailand and Cambodia have opened fire on each other.
Oh yeah, they've been doing that for months now.
Well, since last month, yeah, but apparently it was a little bit more today or something.
They're building a wall, I think.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, Paul was in both of those countries just recently. I was looking at going back to Thailand, and then they changed a bunch of stuff, and he's like, no. Jan says, okay, your fireworks are for sure not like our fireworks in the center of town. It's one of the reasons I want to be at home at 6 p.m. and later too. Yeah, I mean, these are fireworks. I'm out in the middle of nowhere. Like, I'm way out and you're hearing these fireworks. Tom says they're bombing each other. Yeah, they are talking to the heavens. Steph Wild, mailing medications for personal use is technically illegal, but the official policy is that it is not prosecuted. So the worst that can happen at the moment is that it gets confiscated. Are you sure that is a... Oh, when I say mailing, I mean to USA from USA. Yes. Mailing from the USA outside is, right, you have to be very clear on this terminology. When you send through border control out of the country, it's trafficking, right? So it's basically the same, except on a small personal level of what the cartels are in trouble with cocaine and precursors, right? If it's a controlled substance and you put it, and you're the one who ships it, it's a traffic. They have the option of a trafficking charge. It doesn't mean they're going to charge you with trafficking, but they certainly have the option in the U.S. and Nicaragua has the same, right? So you could face it on either side, and if you do it through any service, those services, if they detect it, are likely to turn you in because they don't want to carry the liability. If they just ignore it, they could be held liable. So often they don't detect it, but you don't want to be in a situation where they're like, oh crap, now we know we have to do something, right? Tony says, artillery is shooting and landmines are explosive. I assume you mean in Thailand and Cambodia and not the sound outside the window. That's a Catholic procession. But they're very similar things, what I understand. Janet says, yeah, but those fireworks are your neighbors. What neighbors? That sound is coming from a field. There's nothing back there. That will continue for sure, but here it's a good 10 to 15 minutes. That actually makes my cats and dogs nervous at 6. Then at midnight it happens again. Oh, yeah, here it's been going on all day. So I've had very, very attached dogs. I mean, they're always kind of, but super attached today. Which I kind of like because it's really nice having them at my feet. But the family's away today. My wife and daughter are both getting their regular medical treatments as they do on Thursdays, and now at the car dealer. So they're stuck in Managua, and Paul's here right now, and just my youngest is in the house. So and Ida, my housekeeper's gone home. So pretty much I'm the only one who's stable. So I have both dogs, and they just want to be held. They really wish I would end the live stream and go in the media. Well, they really wish I'd take them away from all this, but they wish I'd go into the media room and take a bunch of blankets and crank up the air conditioning and snuggle them under a pile of blankets on the couch and just watch a movie or something. That's what they wish, huh? Yes, you don't want to be out here. You want to be all snuggled and covered up so you don't have to hear it. Janet says, so they went into the field to catch that on fire instead of their houses. I don't think they're actually back there. I don't know where it's like it's coming from over there and echoing off the back field. Like there's no way that they're back there doing fireworks. That'd be crazy. I mean, like one firework at some point maybe, but I mean that's seriously remote and really hard to get to. I'm going to have some of my fancy Pepsi. I've definitely noticed that Pepsi bottling, which I assume this is locally bottled. Hold on. I've actually... it isn't really clear where it's bottled. It's definitely Central American. Imported and distributed. Guatemala, Honduras. Is it the last one? Oh no. National Bottling. But that doesn't mean that they actually bottled it. Huh. Oh, here we go. Product of Central America made in El Salvador. So, our Coke comes locally, but our Pepsi is done in El Salvador. And one thing you really notice compared to the U.S. is inconsistency. I will get one like this one that's syrupy and sweet. This is the 0 sugar, right? So they should be relatively controlled, right? But this one's like syrupy and sweet. And the last one I had was like sour water. Bitter water, I guess. So they do not keep the syrup mix even in any way whatsoever. It's really wild. We're so spoiled in the U.S. that those things are really precise. And here it's kind of like, it's dark. So yeah. So what have you guys been up to this week? And doing, and what do you got going on this weekend, all that stuff, let me know. I am doing a tiny bit of work in the background, just kicking some stuff off, so I clicked on the wrong thing. Making sure all my stuff is working, and blah, blah, blah. Some of my credits got used for something, that's weird, I don't remember that. Yeah, I stopped all the Pepsi products right after I got here. They're so much cheaper than the Coke products, though. For some reason, my wife likes them better. I would prefer the Coke Zero, but it costs more, and my wife gets these, and so if we're gonna have them, I'm lazy. Not going to, not gonna complain. Going boating on the Mississippi. Interesting. Where did you say where you live? That you're on the Mississippi, or that you're close enough to the Mississippi? The Mississippi's cool. I like a lot of Mississippi regions. Let's see. Get my apps open. So while I've got you guys on, thank you so much to so many people who saw the GoFundMe is now open. And today we did a video about Marcela's progress. So there's a lot more attention today for sure. But definitely thank you so much. There's so many people jumped on over the last few days, but especially today, to donate through GoFundMe for Marcela. That obviously makes a huge difference. It is mentally really important for her. She gets to see how much support there is, how many people are thinking about her and care and putting in that effort. And so just knowing that makes a huge difference. But also, obviously, the financial impact of that is really huge as well, because, you know, Nicaraguan going through cancer treatment, single mother of 2 kids, stage 4 Hodgkin lymphoma is incredibly difficult, and she has to deal with so much transportation because she lives here in LEòN, but she's going through all of her chemo and radiation. She's actually done with chemo. We hope that's done, right? In Managua, and she is now doing radiation therapy for. Oh, that did not work at all. Doing radiation therapy. What the heck? I'm getting link problems with. I did not have this problem with the link the last time I used it, so we're just going to go look at the show and pull it off the show notes. So she has to go to Managua for everything that they do, and it's just a ton. She has to stay with family or friends, and you know she doesn't have a place there. And luckily, she has some resources, but she has to take buses to everything and taxis. She doesn't have a car there. She doesn't have anyone who can drive her, so she's going to all of her treatments and everything alone. No one can go with her, so it all really adds up. It's just it's exhausting, and I don't know why the paste does not work into this thing. There we go. There's the GoFundMe for Marcela. She's got to go across the city twice a day because she has to do daily radiation therapy right now, which is good because it's getting done, and so far she's handling it well. Thank goodness. The chemo was so bad. She was allergic to everything, and she's terrified of needles, and she can't handle having blood drawn. It was like the worst possible thing. Just one thing after another was so bad with the chemo, and the radiation is like, oh, well, this is not fun, but it's nothing like the chemo, so that's been really good. So she's every day roughly until September 4th. They give her 1 or 2 days off a week, but it's like 5-6 days a week for that. So that's going well. It's only a few days in. I think today was her 3rd day of the actual radiation, and today went fast. Like they had it down, they knew what to do. So, so thank you so much to everyone who donated. It's really noticeable. Thank you. Boating in the Mississippi. Jan says there's a reason they're cheaper too. Okay, it's true. Live in Rock Island. Very cool. Boat is in LeClaire, Iowa at a marina. Fancy LeClaire, Iowa. Luke says, Rocco of Rock Island, loving it. Welcome from a Rockford kid. Awesome, Rockford. Luke says, I sent a lot of DX military equipment to the arsenal for final disposition. Wow, really? I'm about a mile from the arsenal. Let's say some prayers. Yeah, oh, for Marcela, for sure. Absolutely. So she is hoping to be out here this weekend because her house is out here, right? So she does, when she can, she wants to come to LEòN because her life is here. As long as she's in Managua, it's like everything's on hold. She's in a room with nothing. She doesn't have a TV. She doesn't have a radio. All she has is her phone. And she does have a bed, luckily. Sorry. Luckily, she has a bed and a phone, but she doesn't have Wi-Fi, so she has to be really sparing with her phone. Here you get unlimited Facebook and Instagram and a few things like that. So she has social media, but she can't like be on like email and websites and whatever. She can't be doing a whole bunch of that. Some, but she runs out of data relatively quickly because there's no Wi-Fi. So there's just, it's very limiting, incredibly boring, incredibly depressing. And so whenever she can, she tries to come out to LEòN. She has not been able to be out in weeks. But hopefully this weekend, now that the chemo is underway, we're going to get her out. And the hope is that, so her free days are Sunday, Monday. And Monday is, in theory, the opening of a new gym in Las Penitas. And the owner of the new gym is the sister of my housekeeper. And so we're going to try to go and film that and show, because there's no gym in Las Penitas right now. And I don't think there's a gym in Ponaloya either. There was one at some point, but it closed before I was here, long ago. So we're hoping that that does well, obviously. And it's really exciting that there's going to be one. And it's like, I think I know where it is. If I'm not mistaken, it's really close to where my house will be there. So it'll be handy for me to be able to go to the gym. It should be cool. It'll be nice to know. Oh, geez. Someone desperately needs me to do a little bit of work for them. So I'm going to do that while we're talking. I just got to run some SQL queries in the background. Nothing crazy. But this is what I do all the freaking time, always getting requests for work. Work. Do. Bum. How many days are there in July? 30 days, half September, April, June. Ah, it's a 31. This is one of those doing SQL queries directly off of production servers. I don't trust anyone else to do them, so I do them myself. And then, well, it's not like someone would have been available right now anyway. So January, same thing, 30 days, half September, yeah, 31 days in January. Hold on, this will be funny. I'm doing your queries while I'm on my live stream. So I'm here doing live queries as I talk. And I'm sending you this message on video. So everyone knows that I'm working. Let's see. Do I have? Yes, I do. If you've never done manual, I can't because we often go to midnight. You'd be waiting up until 1 o'clock in the morning to get these, and I'll be so tired I'll probably forget, and then you'll be like texting me while I'm playing video games with the kids, like, why didn't you do this? And I'd be like, oh no, I didn't do it, I forgot. It's better to just do it now on the live stream. No one told me it was an emergency that they had to have him today. They only asked for him today. This is why I never get sleep or a chance to get away from anything. And I'm also still covering for a shift. We had to fire a guy like almost 2 months ago, which it seems like we just fired him, but it's been a while. And I've been covering ever since. And it's exhausting, right? Now, it's the slowest shift of the week, So it's the best one if you're going to have to cover something, which is why I haven't like completely lost my mind. But it means I am handling the 5 days a week. Well, and I was already covering some on the weekends before. So I'm doing 7 days a week to do this one particular role. And that's on top of all my normal stuff. Right? Like it's pretty awful. And I'm also covering that right now while we're talking. All right. That was not so bad. Only takes a minute, but it's switching gears. Every little thing is like, oh, gotta go do this thing now. Whoa, gotta go do that thing now. All right. Oh. Now I have no idea what you guys are saying. Hey, but it's a good chance for you guys to catch up. Does anyone have an old Kindle that can be loaded with some books in Espanol for Marcela to use? Oh, that's a great idea. I do, but in storage in Texas somewhere. Jan says, hey, that's a good idea, but sorry, no. She was actually considering buying one at one point because at one point we had money coming in on the GoFundMe before the disaster happened, and so they're really cheap to get like the cheapest one, and she's like, that's cheaper than getting books, and it's cheaper than going to, like, if she was going to go to the library in the taxi, like, literally the Kindle would be cheaper. And you can download books for free here. So Rocco says, let's pitch in and get her a new one. That would be amazing. She would specifically love that a lot. Larry says, that's a good idea for the gym there. Is young Pablo outside setting off fireworks? He is not, but he was the car you heard drive away just a minute ago. Janet says, and the fireworks just died off after at 15 after. Yeah, they went away. Steph Wild is a laughing fish, apparently. I think that's what that is. Janet says, we are the proof you are indeed working. Yes, it is true. Tony says, hello. That's how he wrote it. Tito says, am Christian, but today is La Grateria in LEòN. Am Christian, but today is La Grateria in LEòN. It's a Christian thing. It's Catholic. Janet says, tell them we understand. Alex says, thanks. Oh, Alex is on the live stream. That's freaking hilarious. That was Alex that I was doing the work for. That's funny. Janet says, well, it's a Catholic holiday, but I'm betting a lot of people who aren't Catholic participate. It's a wonderful event. I love the devotion of the people with altars. Oh, gosh, the altars are crazy. Eat says, sequel queries? Yes. And Tito says, respect. Yeah. He says, thanks. I put a thanks in the live chat. That's so funny. Yes. Yeah, I do a lot of application support and application development. I used to do less development. Now I do a ton of development directly, but I've overseen development teams. 26 years of overseeing development. I started programming 36 years ago, believe it or not, which is crazy. But now I'm actually developing again and really enjoying getting my hands dirty. Like, I took so long off to work in IT and other stuff, and I always have some heavy, like my developers will be like, yeah, he's always involved. But, and of course there's tickets coming in for the other job that I'm covering. It's all the same company, right? Just covering a completely different role. And so I've always stayed involved with oh, luckily someone got that. They don't need me. Why am I here? Doesn't matter. I always stay involved, right? But I haven't like written code. I haven't sat down and fired up an editor and been the guy making something happen. Sometimes I'm opening an editor and following along with people and stuff, but I'm never the one actually doing it. But I decided to change that, and that we needed some things that I couldn't assign to the team. I'm like, we need this, but it's things where I was the customer, and I'm just like, it's not efficient to do this in this way without like I just can't afford to tell the team not to do what they're doing and to do this instead. So I'm like, I'm just going to jump in and do some of these things. And then it turned into like this really big thing and really successful, and we're really happy with it. Really, I'm enjoying it, and my boss is really happy with it, and now it's kind of a thing. So it's been a major change, and at some point it's going to slow down, and I'm not going to be working these absolutely insane hours like I am now. But for the moment, it is pretty crazy. Janet just forwarded. Where did that go? Oh, griteria pronunciation in Spanish. Yes, it's griteria. I never see it written out correctly. Thank you, Janet. I got to work on my Spanish. I also have to work on this thing. Keep asking questions. I gotta make sure all my stuff is really hooked up and working. Yeah, it seems like it is. I think it's all. I've been away. I think we're good. All right. John Blair, good evening. If you had to live in Costa Rica, where would you live? I don't think that's a good question for me just because, well, one, I'm different than most people, and two, I don't really know all of Costa Rica, which sounds crazy because I live so close and I've been several times. But I never like go and do like totally vacation-y things in Costa Rica. Not that that's a good way to learn where you want to live, but I don't do like these huge blocks of time in Costa Rica, partially because I save it, right? Like if I was to, I mean, this, if you really stop and think about it, this is logical. Living in Nicaragua, if I was like, all right, I'm going to take all this time I've got and I'm going to go explore Costa Rica, you'd be like, but you have Costa Rica there for the rest of your life. It's right there. Savor that, right? Hold on to that for the future. Go explore Bolivia. Go to Cambodia. Maybe check out, Rwanda. Do some like far off stuff. Save Costa Rica because on a regular basis we have to go to Costa Rica, right? Our buses go there. Some of our flights go there. Sometimes we had to do border runs. I don't know anymore, but we did in the past. There's a lot of stuff like that you're like, well, I'm just going, and a lot of times like family or friends are like, hey, we're going to be in Costa Rica. You want to meet us? Oh, sure. Right. So there's all these like reasons to be in Costa Rica. And so going and like really putting in an effort now would kind of be foolish. So I actually don't do as much in Costa Rica as a lot of other places because it's just always there. Rocco asks, when are you live again? We try to do this every Thursday. So Thursdays, that when we start varies by hours. The earliest I think I've ever started is 4 Central. This is Central America time, right? Managua time. 4 o'clock is about the earliest I've ever started. I mean, a few minutes before. And we go as late as midnight, but typically we're done around 10. And but we try to go for several hours. Try to make it like really work. And it sometimes we get real busy and then it gets slow and then it picks right up. Like you never know. Sometimes we'll have like 10 people and then sometimes there'll be like 250 and you're like, whoa. But so we try to do it every Thursday, and then Monday the 1st I'm doing a special one in Las Pinitas. But if I was, based on what I know, yeah, Luke, definitely. I'm distracted. I would honestly live in San Jose. I love San Jose. I think it's a fantastic city. I love the weather in San Jose. I like the size of the city. I like the general feel, the variety of food for sure. It's a little bit rough. It's got some it's got some rough neighborhoods. It's definitely a sketchy city at times, but I like it. I like it a lot. A rainy, drizzly day in San Jose is fantastic. There's just a lot. And then I feel like going to the coast. It's not that far, right? Either coast. And I want to get to Nicaragua, not that far. I want to get to Panama, a little bit far, but not horrible, right? So it's a really good general general spot to be. Now, of course, most people who are asking or interested in Costa Rica are interested in much more enclavey, beachy kind of things, not necessarily both, one or the other. And there's tons of great spots that are very different than Nicaragua, and a lot of those places are, I don't know, because Costa Rica has embraced that lifestyle, like it's better at it. Whereas like Nicaragua, it's like, why? Why would you come to Nicaragua and do that? But in Costa Rica, it's like, oh, you would totally do that. So it's a very different thing, at least in my mind. But if it was me, San Jose for sure. And that's my number one thing that I don't like in Nicaragua is I don't have a big city, right? Same thing. If I was going to be in Guatemala, no question I'd be in Guate. I love the city, right? But Nicaragua has really the strongest beach offerings, I think, across Central America. But Guatemala and Panama and Costa Rica have big city options. Nicaragua just doesn't have it. I tried to find it in your library. Wait. Leo says, maybe I have to read it. I tried, in my video library. I understand. I tried to find it in your library, but can I find the episode on the benefit of having T-Mobile or Verizon working better in Nicaragua? Am I correct that you don't have to have a new SIM card? So if you have T-Mobile, you do not need to have a new SIM card. If you have Verizon, you do. Verizon does not work internationally. They say they do, but they don't. T-Mobile is fantastic international. Now, if you just got a phone that has Verizon as the carrier, you have to get a SIM card here then. Verizon just doesn't let international work. So eSIM, when you arrive, just get a Claro, especially if you're on Verizon now, just get a Claro eSIM. When you arrive, it's dirt cheap and fantastic. And even if you have T-Mobile, if you're going to be living here or spending tons of time, you're going to want a SIM card because it's way faster and it's so cheap. And Luke and I worked on it and figured out that the best plan, really Luke worked on it, just told me about it, but if you get the right plan and know how to do it, it's 200 cord every 15 days. So it comes out to $11 a month. Like, it's crazy cheap for really, really good service. But having T-Mobile as a backup is awfully nice. So I do have T-Mobile that I keep for the US, but I'm always on Claro here, and it's a great combination. But if I go anywhere else, if I cross borders, my T-Mobile just works everywhere I go, whereas Verizon works nowhere. And my Claro, because of the cheap plan I'm on, doesn't work anywhere else. I could get a more expensive plan and then use it across the Americas, but it's just Nicaragua here, unfortunately. I wish you could add on like Costa Rica. Like, I don't need Honduras. I'm not hanging out in Honduras very often, although that'd be cool. But I am in Costa Rica often enough that I really wish I had a Nicaragua-Costa Rica plan, and they don't seem to offer that in a way that I would get. Janet says, haha, I can't type the accent on griteria. I have to copy it from the internet. That's why you get a Mac. That is literally the number one reason to have a Mac, is their ability to type accents is way better than even Linux. Otherwise, I like Linux better for almost everything. Mac has better hardware than anybody. And Linux has better operating system, obviously, by so far. Better interface, easier to use, better for your end users, like just more secure, more stable, everything. But even though Linux universally has such a better user interface and experience than Mac, its handling of accents is just not up to par. Now its handling of audio devices a million times better. So, but my microphone problem is not my Mac. That is, to the best of my knowledge, it is my Rode X. Type of accent. Eid Group, what software do you use for development? So I recently changed. I was a VS Code guy for a long time, but remember, I wasn't a full-time developer for a really long time. So I did a bunch of research, tried out a bunch of different things, and finally decided to move back because I'm an old school, like 20 years ago, I was still coding. I was an old school IntelliJ guy. So I moved back to JetBrains, and because I do Go development, I'm on GoLand, which is the Golang-ide called GoLand. I'm not happy with their name, but so I tried out GoLand and VS Code. Obviously, I always have VS Code; it's free. I played around with VS Code. I spent almost a month working in VS Code full time and obviously it's fantastic, and had a good feel for it. And then I took JetBrains up on their 30 days free trial, and pounded on GoLand for 30 days. Wow! So I'm well over 2 months now, and I was using GoLand heavily. I use DataGrip a little bit, which is their dbeaver competitor, but it's part of the JetBrains ecosystem. So, am I going to spend $100 on it? No. But would I spend $10 on it? Yes. So, I really like their Junie AI tool. And what else do I have that I use? Oh, they have their new Fleet tool, which is their own competitor of VS Code, which is currently free. Should you want to play with it, but it's not going to be free in the future. And really, I could get away with just that. And if I needed to, I could get away with just GoLand. And I don't need the others. But I really like Fleet sometimes. I just like the vibe. And DataGrip, I just enjoy using a little bit. But it's built into GoLand, so it's like, hey dog. But I know in the future I will probably use PHP Storm sometimes with my team because they still do PHP work sometimes. And I'm probably going to use, I'm going to use Rider for GD script development and possibly some C# stuff because my kids do video game design. I might play with WebStorm, but it's built into GoLand, I don't know. And, might I get into Rust with Rust Rover? Might I go back to IntelliJ and do a little bit of Kotlin or Scalar or Clojure? Maybe. It's all getting pretty esoteric. Basically, I use GoLand. But I love it. So all that is to say, because I kind of use a few different things, I just bought the JetBrains suite. So I have every one of their tools, including all the data stuff and extra things. But we did not like TeamCity and whatever their project management tool. I can't think of its name. Your Track. We were just like, nope, no good. Did not like it. So we actually built our own replacement for that and already replaced it. So we used JetBrains tools to replace a JetBrains tool in a month. And it's already in production, and the CEO loves it, who is currently heading up our PM office, our PMO. So GoLand is what I use, and I do basically all of my work. I mean, I'm a full stacker, but in Go. So San Jose is very nice. Hako is better if you like a beach town. Andrew O'Neill is here. Is there a good place for you to go to get dependable internet when you are needing to do some remote work before you get Claro internet set up in an apartment in LEòN? No. There probably is. But I don't know where you would go. Oh, excuse me. Not enough caffeine or beer or seltzers or something. There's some cafes that do have internet, but not many places pay for high-speed internet because working remotely from cafes and stuff is not much of a thing here. If you're up in Matagalpa, I know Luke will be like Brooklyn Cafe. It's fantastic. If you're out on the beach, Desperados and The Simple and Playa Roca, right? They all have fiber, high-speed fiber at all those. Playa Roca actually is the fastest, but you never need the difference. They get it he thinks he needs it for sports, but he doesn't. He's just confused. But whatever, they've got 100 meg fiber. So go take advantage of it for working. But the number of places in LEòN City that have anything good, I don't know of one. Hunting around, you'll probably find a handful of places that work fine. But people work from home. They don't go, it's just not a thing. Jan says, well, I only use Mac in the States, but now my issue is budget. Actually, they're not too bad. One of the reasons we moved to it is that they got so cheap. A Mac Mini starts at around $600 and really, really heavily outfitted still comes in under $1,000, which, boy, that's hard to, I mean, can you get cheaper than that? Obviously, you can get a Raspberry Pi and do what most people do, you know, for $80, but, you know, once you want a real machine, you know, you're getting, Mac gets you a long way for pretty cheap. Like, it was not, before the Apple Silicon, they were crazy expensive. It was like, get a really bad PC for 50% more. And they only had Intel processors, which really didn't help them any. Because if I'm buying a PC, they're all AMDs, right? I get really nice laptops for $350 to $400, or at least I used to, with fast AMD processors, and they're fantastic, right? We really like them. And then if we want to get something more powerful, the Macs just with the Apple Silicon, once you're going to that power level, you can't beat them for price. Now, if you're going to make a video game machine, that's different. That's a special case. But other than that. Janet says, I just have that cool workaround. Luke says, Kindle idea is resolved. She will have it in her hands within 12 days. That's amazing. Thank you so much, Luke. She is going to be incredibly excited. I don't know if she's watching the live stream or not. I think she's asleep. But I know when we started the live stream, she was trying to watch today's video. Rocco says, much love to you, brother Luke. That was my plan. You can always send her other cool things from Amazon. She would love whatever people buy her. And if anyone has questions about what she owns, I know pretty much everything she owns. Janet says, I see people working at tables in that one that I think is Mañana. So there's a place called Mañana, which is tomorrow morning, I believe, is what that means. But because Mañana can be morning and Mañana can be tomorrow. She says across from the cathedral. So on the north side, on the back of the cathedral, on the north side across the street, is a little cafe called Mañana. And they probably have decent internet. Libelula on Ruben Dario probably has decent internet. Dr. Coffee has okay internet. But I don't know anyone who has a great one, right? I'm just not sure. I've done some work at, she mentions Libelula. And some at Panipaz. I've never done Panipaz. Libelula has two big air-conditioned rooms where you can go and like get quiet and be cooled down. So they're kind of nice for that. Panipaz has a little air-conditioned space at one of their locations, but it's real small and awkward for working. Luke says, you get to load the books on the Kindle. It's without the annoying ads. Has a case enter. Oh, wow, without the ads and everything. Cool. Wow, yes, I will get tons for her. She always sends me out to get books as it is. So I know the process and I'm pretty good at getting them. So we will figure that out for sure. My wife is finally on her way home. Rocco is taking off. Have a wonderful night, everyone. Have to go for now. Ciao. Or as we say in Northern South America, ciao, ciao. I learned that from watching telenovelas. But it's true. My staff down there are like, ciao, ciao. Like, I learned telenovelas are the secret to learning a language. Well, to learning Spanish. Janet says, leaving the stream on. Oh, I don't like the air-conditioned parts. Oh, you don't like the air-conditioned. Janet is very used to the temperatures here. The nice thing about the air-conditioned parts is that they're quiet. That's the biggest thing. Other places when it's open, everybody's just walking through all the time. So, I don't know, Janet. Air conditioning is starting to take off down here. Nicaraguans are starting to expect it. So you may have to adapt. Working on my development in the background. La, 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 la. Ooh, I fixed things. No, maybe not. No. Not a gecko. Oh, are you saying it's louder in the air-conditioned part? Everything's loud at geckos. Everything's loud at geckos. Oh, people are sending me messages on internal company chat. I don't have it open. What a slacker I am. The big part is better and more people. Well, definitely more people. Andrew says, Mañana Mañana en la mañana supposedly means tomorrow morning, according to Pimsleur's Spanish I am working through. Yes, we would normally say mañana en la mañana. It's a weird thing, mañana, mañana. Actually, let's pop it into Google and see what they say. Oh. I've never actually looked it up. Google just says tomorrow, tomorrow. Oh, Janet is going to the griteria. Oh, my dad's going to bed. Good night. Take care. Love you, Dad. Good night. Well, it's more fun in the not air. In the not air? I think she means in the not air conditioning. But she could mean in the hot air. It's all hard to say. My dog is still at my feet. The one is still at my side. The other is still between my feet. He's very warm, but he's not shaking now. He seems pretty happy. He's like, this is my spot. I'm a good dog. Don't blow me up. Huh. Are you starting to relax? You could go lay down. You know, you have a soft doggy bed. Yes, we bought you a nice doggy bed. It's for sleeps. Yeah. How many people do we have on? I haven't even looked. I don't even know where it says on here. We'll leave it a mystery. It is a mystery. So, what are those of you who are left planning on doing this weekend? Anybody got something exciting going on? Anybody got travel coming up? Janet is out. Luke says Google Translator shows tomorrow morning for the double mañana. Oh, I did it. It said tomorrow. And Dave Wilson is here. Hey, Scott, just tuned in. Hey, Dave. Luke says, estudio mi español. Me? No me. Andrew O'Neill says, what would be your solution for temporary higher speed internet to do remote work in LEòN while getting Claro set up on the apartment? Would you say just use phone data? No, not generally. It depends what kind of work you're doing, but normally you'd do it from the hotel that you're staying in. Like, when do you plan on being in a place where you don't have high speed internet where you're at? And I know, like, if you're staying in a hotel, it's nice to go out and be away from the hotel, obviously, during the day. In Managua, it's easy. Right, it's really just in LEòN that you run into those kinds of problems. If you are, wait, did you ask about LEòN or did you ask? Oh no, you did ask about LEòN. Yeah, LEòN there's a lot fewer options. If you were in Managua, right, like your hotels have really good internet. You got tons of cafes that people work from. Oh, you know where it's probably really good? I never tried this, but Casa del Cafe is probably really good. Dave says, worried about forest fires here in New Brunswick. We have a fire out of control. Oh, that sucks. Canada's always burning these days. It's like a new thing. And that's not just a metaphor. Like, it's actually burning. But it's also a metaphor for society. Oh, he's awake. What you doing? He does not want to move, though. He is my foot dog. He can go weeks without ever doing this. But today, he has been on my feet the entire day, which makes it a little bit hard. I can't move my chair or anything. I'm going to roll over his tail. I can't even see where his tail is. And he already has a broken tail. When he was a little puppy, he was tiny. One day, he just took his tail in his mouth and went, argh, and broke it. And it goes off in a different direction. And it's never bothered him since. But he has a wonky tail because he bit it when he was a puppy. He didn't yelp or anything. He was just like, no, that's not where it's supposed to be. He's a funny dog. You're a funny dog. I can't reach you. Canada's always burning because of the cannabis laws. Ha ha ha. So true. So true. Always producing all that smoke. Oh, Marcela said. Ah, Marcela was not here for us talking about her, so that will be a surprise. Or should we tell her? I don't know. It's up to you guys. Luke, let me know. I keep having to move my thing around. Luke says my call. I don't know. A surprise would be cool, but I think having her have something to look forward to would also be really good. I say give her something extra to look forward to. I agree. Having her looking forward to it. She'll be like, that's a thing that's coming. And it'll be, so you said 12 days is the expectation. That's the 26th. Trying to think of. Yeah, because she'll be here this weekend. And then, yeah. Oh, she'll have 2 weekends in there. So it's good that like 4 of those days she won't be so bored. When she's here, it's not so bad. Because she's got movies and she's got her house. She'll spend time like working on her house, but then she'll come over here. And hang out because we've got air conditioning and we've got the TV and movies. We've got all the movies here and stuff. So she'll often come and spend her days here in the house. Plus, we have people to cook for her here, so she doesn't have to take care of herself like that when she's here in the house. One thing I love about modern development tools, because id group was asking, is I have a tool that writes my comments for me. I hate writing comments, especially git commit comments, because I commit a lot. And it's so much energy to be like, what did I just write? Why? What do I actually want to say? And having that automated makes my life so much better. Drop the virtual book bomb arrives in Pomona Beach on Sunday. EFT should airmail by Tuesday, arrive in Managua Friday, Saturday for your pickup. Perfect. Yeah, and really, she should start telling me books to download so that we have a whole bunch ready. So when we get it, it's not like, now what do you want to read? She'd be like, here's 10 books. I want to like load them up now. I don't think she's seen my message yet to come on. No. She said, I said, are you in the live stream? She said, no, but I can now. That was 5 minutes ago. And then I said, yeah, to get on, and she hasn't seen that yet. So, I'm going back and forth on screens testing code. Oh, that's, oh no, that's right. Cool. Wait. Nice. Weird colors, but okay. Perfecto. Bum bum bum. Bum bum bum. Ba-da-da. You guys are a little bit quiet. I'm gonna pop up and see how many of you there are. 16, 17. It's a light night, but we've got the Gritteria going on. It was a slow video week, I think. I'm gonna step away soon when I finish this. I have some beer and seltzer in the fridge. I'm gonna go pick something out. But I can't leave the doggies for more than a few seconds because they're so nervous still. Huh. You're such a baby. And they're probably nervous because there's all this going on and the family's been away all day. So they're like, where is everybody? Something's wrong. Nice. She is still not on. Very cool. Now I'm jealous. I don't even read, but I have a Kindle. I think it's the early Paperwhite, like the first generation, which is old. And I have this nice fake leather, so plastic, orange case, periwinkle, I think. Is that what they call it? No, not periwinkle. Tangerine. I have a tangerine case. And it's funny, but it's like the perfect size. Like, I love it so much, but I don't really like reading that kind of book. The last thing I read was East of Eden by Steinbeck. But I feel like every so often I'd like to be able to have a Kindle, but there's something about them. I love carrying them. I love how they look and feel. I love the technology. But I have so little time to read, like fiction, like to sit down and read a book. It's always like I got to read a thing that's like a website and to learn something or whatever. And so it takes it out of you, But the idea of it is very, very nice for me. I do have, what's really terrible, I have a subscription to Audible, and I never get a chance to listen to a book. But I've got a lot queued up, and I love books. I just, what I used to really like is when I had to drive at night, I would listen to books when I drove, because I used to commute between cities. I used to live in New York and work in Washington, D.C., and drive back and forth all the time. Have you seen Elton at all from Immense Coffee? I see they have a newborn. I've not seen him since he had the baby, no. I have seen him in person before, yeah, but yeah, they've got a baby, so they're quite busy and building a coffee plantation and having a huge YouTube channel and stuff. Like he's a busy guy. And they're back in the States on a regular basis, so they're always doing stuff. Oh my gosh, these dogs. Hi. My dog won't even turn around. She just faces away from me and pants. Huh. Poor thing. She's such a nervous dog. Just about everything. Even just rain. Well, the little one is like, okay, I'm good. He got up. Are you going to go lay down? Is that your plan? Oh, they're both going. Aw, she went over to the bed. Okay, good. She's feeling better. Nope, now she's coming back. She wanted to inspect and make sure that the bed was really there and available for her should she want it. And the little one's just watching her. He's like, what's she doing? Oh, no, she sat in the bed. What a good girl. You're the good girl. Hi. Luke says, I watched a still frame animation on Amazon from their Audible series. Show was a mini-series about a post-apocalyptic vampires. Not too shady. What? Steph Wild says, my dog is deaf, so fireworks are thankfully not an issue. Oh, man, that would be nice. I mean, I don't want my doggies to be deaf, but sometimes. They wish they were deaf sometimes. Ah, not too shabby. I see. That makes more sense. I know, this show's not too shady. Well, it's a concern. What was I going to say? Oh, Audible. Back in the day, so this is when Audible was just going into the Amazon discussions. I used to live in the building with the Amazon execs, and the CEO and the VP of marketing, I think, were my gym buddies. We would go to the gym together. It was wild. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm a huge Audible fan. Like, that's so cool. I probably should have tried to get a job there. No, they didn't have jobs for me. I was way beyond what they hired back then. Slim Shady, maybe. It's funny because I'm like, what a cool job that would have been. Now I'm thinking about it. I'm like, no, at that part of my career, I was already way past Audible. Like they're not really a tech company, They record books and then put them on a website. Like there's no need for what I do. But it's a cool business. I really like Audible. They made audiobooks accessible. I have a library of just huge amounts, and I know at some point in my life I will be in a position to walk around or something a whole lot and listen to books again. And when that time comes, I will be ready, loaded up with just insane numbers of books. For those who are wondering, since you guys are slow and not really asking a lot of questions, some of my favorite authors, or authors that I have a lot of books of, depending on how you like. I have a lot of Mark Twain. I recently got both the movie and the book, The Motorcycle Diaries, by Che Guevara. Of course, I have everything by Garrison Keillor, Simon Winchester, Madeleine L'Engle, L.L. Montgomery, Sue Grafton, Mark Twain, some Paul Theroux, Jared Diamond, everything by Jared Diamond, Bill Bryson. I just realized I completely and randomly bought a book called The President and the Assassin, and I just happened to look. The author is Scott Miller. I had no idea. Sometimes I read Janet Ivanovich, just kind of background reading. David McCullough, a lot of his. Simon Winchester, did I say him? I have like everything he writes. I feel like those are my big ones. I've got some fiction. Troy Denning, R.A. Salvatore, Tolstoy, Jules Verne, L. Montgomery, Jane Austen, Louisa May Alcott, of course, Paul Theroux, Michael Palin. Sometimes he's good. Dave says, so what's tourism like this time of year picking up? No. I just did a video on this. I feel like it hasn't released yet in a week. It really feels like it's going away. Like tourism is way down. We are feeling the American economic crunch. Both the U.S. and Canada are in major tough economic times, and we feel it, right? Like not like in a, oh no, the financial picture is terrible and it used to be okay, but in a there just aren't tourists coming in from the outside. Everyone's here from the inside, and it's just really changed in that way. We used to see just so many tourists. Of course, the way that I interact with the world, especially over the last 2 months, has changed dramatically. I owned a restaurant that was like the place to go for backpackers, and now it's gone. Like, we closed it. So those things have dramatically changed my view of the world, but my view is that we went from a fair number of tourists to, it feels like zero. I'm sure it's not quite that dramatic, but we've really noticed a drop off. So that's my take on it. There should be a reasonable amount of tourism this time of year, and it just feels like there's nothing. Nicaraguans are doing stuff, of course, because the economy here is okay, but of people with money to come down here, very, very little. Luke says, I have the entire Terence McKenna tome when you're ready. I have not read his stuff. I'll have to check that out. Who knows when I'll be ready? That's a tough one. I do really like, with GoLand and some of the tools I have, how much I'm able to keep working. Like when I'm watching TV, one of the things that I'm really happy, if id group is still watching, the amount compared to other tools that GoLand for, or PHP Storm or whatever one for the language you're using, the amount that it lets me have everything in one window and not have to switch screens is amazing. I do wish I had a larger screen for it, but I have like a discussion of what I'm doing. I have my code. I have my Git repository. I've got a terminal all built into Go, and then I just go, or GoLand, and then I just go look at the actual thing that we're testing, and it's really, really good. Like, I'm just able to focus when with other tools, they may have done all the same things, but I had my terminal session open over here, and I had my Git over here, and it was more steps for Git, and it didn't, VS Code didn't have something that wrote my Git commit for me, so I was doing that, and like everything was an extra click, and I had to move screens around, and this has really eased that up. And a part of it is I've been using it longer now and like really intensively, so I feel like I'm learning where buttons are and learning shortcuts and stuff that I wasn't doing before. So I'm cheating a bit from that perspective. That obviously it's getting used to it in good ways, but I think I'm really happy with it. I know JetBrains is crazy expensive. Who pays that much for IDEs and stuff? But they make me happy. I feel like they make me a lot more productive. And it's the simplest stuff, right? And it's things that VS Code in theory could do, but just somehow when I'm working in VS Code, I do not find it easy to use, useful in this way. So I don't know. Steph says, is it at all possible to live in any of the cloud forest areas in Nicaragua? Yeah, absolutely. So like Jinotega, San Rafael del Norte, those areas, you can definitely live up there. And people do. There's whole cities in the cloud forest because there's a lot of cloud forest here, right? So anything around that zone, you potentially could be in one. Mostly, you're at pretty high altitude, so it's like, other than Jinotega, quite often it's like, okay, there's a town here, there's a cloud forest up there, you're going to have to figure out your own well and stuff. It can be done, but a lot of people don't live in the cloud forest just out of practicality, but Jinotega is the city in the cloud forest for sure. And San Ramon. Wait, I said San Rafael. San Ramon, yeah. A lot of them are beautiful, right? You get some of the best stuff up there. But they're very warm cloud forests, so be prepared. It is not the chilly North American cloud forest that you're thinking of. They're still warm. So you'll be like, I'm very warm and wet. Obviously, it's cooler than down here by the coast where it's ridiculously warm, but it's still warm. Dave says, Coke or Stout, what are you drinking? Sadly, I'm stuck drinking sugar-free Pepsi. I am going to go grab something else in a second. A Stout would be nice, a nice Moro Potente, but I've been working I just need caffeine all the time. You have no idea how tired I am. You guys are lucky I don't fall asleep on the live stream. I could very easily. Nice, let me just kick off a build. Oh, another thing I'm loving in Go, I've got, I don't know if anybody's still watching, who cares, but I've got Windsurf that I'm testing out, and Windsurf does I'm gonna run the build steps, and then it gets errors, and then it runs through fixing the errors. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is fantastic. Some of this automation stuff that we didn't have before, wow. And then I build some of my own automation too, that's like, test this, build this, ship it, restart, which is obviously simple stuff you just do, but I've taken time to do some of that stuff that I didn't used to do, and automatically putting on servers for myself. It makes life a lot easier. I will be right back, guys. Try not to leave. Ask lots of questions. Talk amongst yourselves. See you guys in just a minute. Just grabbing a drink. Oh, sweet dogs. We'll go explore the house. You gonna stay there, baby? Okay. had to take a minute to make sure my daughter was getting dinner too. Ugh. Luke says, I spoke with the owner of Eco Lodge Cascada Blanca and a rep from the newer Vera Eco Lodge, both on the rainforest region. Dave says, Luke, I see you have your own channel. How long you been there? Steph says, thanks. Did you learn anything interesting? Must be to Luke, not to me. I learned that there's tofu in the other room. Dave says, enjoy it, I'm sure. Luke says, I've been in Nicaragua since February 5th. I gotta move the screen a little bit. There we go. Arrived in Matagalpa in the beginning of March, received my residency in 2 weeks' time, found a large one-bed, one-bath apartment in Barrio Guanuca, northeast corner of the city, and loving it. Steph says, excellent. Id group, I am. Scott, can you please type the name in the chat? Do you mean of GoLand? It's JetBrains GoLand is the IDE that I'm using. And then I'm using the Windsurf plugin for JetBrains. Hold on, we got... Marcela says she's going to wait to watch the live stream until she can put the subtitles on because it doesn't do them in real time? I thought it did them in real time. I don't know how to say that. Tiempo real. Okay, that's... Pensé que ahora era en tiempo real. Pero pienso que no. Supongo no. And it integrates with GitHub. So we don't use GitHub, but it definitely does. VS Code is obviously made by GitHub, right? Or I don't know if you saw it, GitHub was rolled into Microsoft today. But are you using Git for source code control documentation? Both. We use Git. We use Git, right? So we have our own Git repository. We used to be on GitLab. We tried GitHub long ago. We liked GitLab better. And then we've kind of learned our lessons over the years about limits and users and all kinds of things. So we moved to Git and run our own Git. And are really happy with that. So we have a large Git repository, and it integrates with all those, right? Whether you're on VS Code or JetBrains IDEs, they got all kinds of plugins with GitHub, and like GitHub Copilot, which I think is trash. But if you want to take that, I mean, Microsoft and AI, like obviously that's going to be a train wreck. But if you want to use that in JetBrains, you can. Like you can just pop that right in, or you can use it in VS Code, or you can use it in Visual Studio. Luke says, I visited Cascada Blanca on October 22nd. Elton has a great video of it from his Matagalpa visits. The owner of CB is Victor, a character to say the least. Oh, Renee is here. I'm here listening. Past couple of weeks as well. Had surgery and recovering. Oh, sorry to hear that you had to have surgery. Glad that you were doing well. And here, I'm going to grab the link for JetBrains for anyone who is a developer and interested. They have such a suite of tools. It's really huge. If you've never used JetBrains, this is... So I come from... I don't know if this is a correct thing to say, a Java background. I come from a BASIC and Fortran background. I'm going to date myself a little bit. I taught Fortran. Fortran 77 and C I used to teach long ago. But when I came into the more modern era, I did so, even this to say, I did a lot of Java, but I also wrote a book and certification on C#. So I came from both sides, I guess. But I did a lot of Java back in the day. We're talking late 90s, 2000, and probably was mostly done No, it's not true. I probably was still heavily involved with Java through about 2005. That's probably about right. But mostly through about 2000. And the big player was IntelliJ. There were a few others. I can't remember what all they were. But IntelliJ, and Eclipse, obviously. Eclipse is still out there, but I don't know why anybody would use it. I need to look it up. I wonder what the current status is of Eclipse. I've not seen it in a couple dogs' ages, but there we go. There's JetBrains. But VS Code kind of came out, and if you weren't just absolutely amazing, VS Code just demolished everybody, right? Because it was free and really good. Eclipse is still out there, and they claim that they're very good. But I never liked Eclipse. I did use it long ago. I'm not seeing it really for anything but Java, which I'm sure it does a lot of stuff, but like, yeah, they don't show it at all. If you're not showing your IDs, I bet it's awful, which is what it always was. Super ugly and stupid, and yeah, not interested. But basically, my discovery has been that there's VS Code when you want to be cheap, or you just like VS Code, which is fine. Or if you want to spend money, JetBrains. That's it. Those are the players, right? One is the pretty much accepted leader, and it's worth some money. Whether it's worth its price or not is up to you. And the other is nearly as good, for some people better, and free. There doesn't leave a lot of room for other players, right? Because they're both so good. So Buddhist is here. Evening all. Hey, Buddhist, how's it going? But for me, JetBrains works with my workflow. Although, honestly, my development team, most of them are like, no, we like VS Code. Saves me money. Okay. Buddhist, I got lost A++. Sorry, Buddhist. I really like that JetBrains has like a tool for everything. Everything's specialized. VS Code is very like one really amazing general purpose for everything, which is kind of what IntelliJ was. They're like, do a plugin. But then they made specialized IDEs based off of IntelliJ for every major language. So depending on the task you're doing, they have a slightly different IDE that's like built around your workflow and has intelligence for frameworks. So like I work primarily with Go and Fiber and Svelte, and all of that is built in. Oh, the little boy wanted to come back. Oh, my daughter had to bring the little dog back. He left my office and became sad because he was trapped outside. Hi, are you gonna lay down with your sister now? Be a happy dog. He's not sure. Oh, and there's more fireworks, of course. No sooner do the dogs start to relax, and then they're back. But having a focused IDE for every little thing does really have some advantages, but you also have to focus. And like, you know, if you work in PHP and Go, you have to buy 2 entire IDEs. And so that's a huge pain. Oh, and now he wants to leave. What the heck? All right, letting the dog out. Well, you just got here. You just made her carry you in. What is up with you? I know you want to be with her. That's what you really want. You want to be with me? Yeah. They're also huge compared to VS Code. I think VS Code is like several hundred meg, and each IDE from, I keep thinking I'm talking to that microphone, each IDE from JetBrains is like 3.5 gig. So they add up, right? You're like, oh, I need just like 5 of them. I'm going to switch between things. You got like all this stuff. You're like, why do they bloat so much? All right, guys, you're too quiet. We've not been on long enough for you to be this quiet. Luke says, when my computer science class in high school, 1988, was teaching Pascal, so Pascal was after my time. This is the language to learn to better understand other programming languages like Fortran and COBOL, which we don't teach. I think Pascal is a terrible way to learn Fortran and COBOL. I also think it's terrible to learn COBOL at all. What a useless language. COBOL is definitely the language where you can tell that they had not yet figured out how to make a language, right? Like Fortran, which is just a little bit younger than COBOL, you use it and you go, this is clearly old, but they knew what they were doing. And you use COBOL, and it's a little bit older, and you go, these people had no clue what computers were going to be like. Like, it's so dumb. Such a terrible language. And, I mean, it's not their fault. It was the first major language, right? So you can only be so upset that they didn't know. Like, they had to learn somewhere, right? But, oh my gosh, COBOL is bad. It is slow. It is dumb. What year did it come out? 1960. I don't think that's correct. 1950. Yeah, 1959. So, 1959. Right? We can be a little bit forgiving. But that anyone used it. Oh no, Fortran, 1957. How did I get that wrong? Fortran is older. There is no excuse for COBOL. None. All those people who used COBOL could have used Fortran and should have. Like, that's just ridiculous to have done anything else. Hassan is here. Blind Guy Crypto. My wife and I and our 5-year-old will be moving out of Canada shortly. We'll be joining you guys in Nicaragua, liquidating our assets over the next couple of months. We'll see you soon. Congratulations! Hello to you and your wife and your 5-year-old. Luke says, but Pascal is word, not numbers based. It's so easy. Actually, Fortran is too. Idgroup says, I'm checking them out now. I hope he means JetBrains and not COBOL. We just accidentally convinced Idgroup to switch everything to COBOL. That's what he's doing now. Wait. Okay. This is crazy. Since April of 2024, so this is way since the last time I looked at it, Fortran has ranked among the top 10 programming languages on the TIOBE index, which is the index, a measure of popularity of programming languages. In the last year, well, 14 months, Fortran has been in the top 10? What? I have yet in my life to meet another Fortran programmer. What? I don't even know where to go with that. That is so dumb. Like, and what? Where do I write it? Where do I find a nice compiler? Luke says, I filed VA claims for a veteran who worked on UNIVAC. Yeah, but you could run Fortran on the UNIVAC. It says, so it sounds like you prefer JetBrains to VS Code. I do. But I like VS Code a lot, right? Like, I've been a VS Code guy for a really long time. I always like PyCharm, which is the Python-ide from JetBrains. I've always kind of kept JetBrains on the radar, but VS Code was just really, really good for a long time, and I really wanted to dig into what was going on now, and I dropped $290 to get JetBrains when VS Code is free. So, I put my money where my mouth is. I mean, it's a tool for work. It's what I use 18 hours a day. So, it's not for nothing. I do generally. I'm gonna say, yeah, I feel pretty good about it. Visual Studio Marketplace and Modern Fortran. Let's go see what they have. OMG, JetBrains has a 100 days of code, the complete Python Pro Bootcamp. Is that free, or do you have to buy it? Everybody remembered those commercials from Staples where it says it was that easy? Oh, for free! That's pretty cool. Except it's Python. Like, they also have a free Python-ide, if that's all you're going to do. Fortran compilers. GNU has one. I forgot. Yeah, they have a really good one. LLVM Flang for Fortran 2018. There's an NVIDIA PGI commercial compiler version. Intel still has Python in their one API suite with 2 different compilers. Wow. NVIDIA has its own Fortran compiler. There's some really hardcore things. So NVIDIA makes C, C++, and Fortran. Okay. Hewlett-Packard Cray still makes one. IBM still makes IBM XL Fortran. AMD has their own Fortran compiler. ARM makes their own Fortran. Sun still makes one. No wonder it has popped up. What would make more sense, and I'm not seeing it here. So hold on. Modern Fortran in VS Code. What do we got going on here? It's just IDE support, so it doesn't actually compile it. It just allows you to write current Fortran well in VS Code, which is good. I mean, that's a huge step. I don't think JetBrains has anything. Watch it be in Clion. TJ says, that extension of my visa was probably the worst thing I've had to do here. I would rather do 4 border runs than that again. I'm not surprised. Oh my gosh. Fortran is supported by JetBrains. I guessed it. The Sea Lion IDE, which does C, C++, and Fortran. That's so... I don't know. I guess if you're just doing math, Fortran remains really freaking good. Just wow. The thing I was about to say, the thing that I think would make the most sense is if someone had a really good, I mean, I get why they do it. Fortran remains. Oh, Luke says, I got to sign off to study. Idea for a future vid short. Marcela reading from her Kindle to her kids. Aw, that's a great idea. The thing that makes Fortran still kind of important is that it's kind of tied to C and older. But C and Fortran have always been the insanely fast high-level languages. Like the just no holds barred, fast as can be, pain to work with, insanely fast languages. And And that hasn't changed. Fortran remains way easier than C to write, but it's able to be compiled using the same tools. So you see it overlap in all these places. So I guess that makes sense. The thing that I'm surprised we don't see more of, if Fortran has any popularity, is I would kind of expect it to also have a JVM version, Jortran or something, and a implementation on the common runtime, Fortran Sharp or something. But I don't see those. I'm actually looking at all the different things that run on the JVM, and I don't see one at all. Oh, Fortress runs on the JVM. Fortress is a language designed by Sun as a successor to Fortran, mainly for parallel scientific computing. Oh, but they stopped development long ago. Well, lame. But if we go to look it up, is there any... Yeah, 13 years ago is the last time anybody worked on it. That's just sad. How are we doing for number of people? 18, not bad. Doing all right. Yeah, nobody really makes Fortran on the Java virtual machine. That surprises me. Steph, okay, looks like I have to go live in an eco lodge for a while and work things out from there. There you go. Life plans underway. Now I kind of want to get back and start writing some Fortran again, just for old time's sake. Oh, Steph, are you leaving too? Losing lots of people. Original Fortran, 1957. Fortran 2, 58. Fortran 3, also 58. Fortran 4, 61. Then Fortran 66 in 1966, and then the one I taught, Fortran 77, made in 1978. That's confusing. And switching to COBOL now. Yep. Oh, I didn't check if there's a COBOL IDE on anything. COBOL on JetBrains. Oh my gosh. Yes. COBOL is available. It's an add-on though. It is not built in, but there is a plugin that is relatively recently updated for IBM Enterprise COBOL on IntelliJ. You can do it, id. I have faith in you. I want to see some amazing new COBOL come out. It blows my mind that somebody is still making COBOL. I mean, I get that people are doing it because it's goofy. Like at some point, like it's not changing. No one's doing like cool new things in it. But somebody is like, oh, this is just neat. I'm the last person to make a COBOL compiler, right? Throughout history, I will be the last one. The GNU Foundation has a free COBOL compiler. It looks like it's probably pretty good. I read a similar survey and was surprised to learn that some of the languages named are listed among the most used. SQL is at the very top, and C# was very high on the list. Yeah, so it's really important to understand the TIOBE index. One, it doesn't actually differentiate what is and isn't a programming language, because like SQL isn't a programming language. And it doesn't talk about what people really use versus what they know. It's based off of the skills that people have. So like tons of us are able to write Python, but none of us actually use it day to day. So Python ranks number 1. But it doesn't mean anyone is hiring or doing work in Python. I mean, obviously lots of people are, but it's the number of places that are turning out, well, Go, for example, right? I work in Go, and it's listed at like, I don't know, 40th? And you're like 40th. If you look at the tools and things that people buy and like hire and products being made, it's in like the top 5. But if you look at what people know, it's super low on the list. You're like, this makes no sense. And completely dead languages are very high up. All kinds of things, right? And it's just like, this is dumb. Yeah, someone said, a lot of, why is a 60-year-old language still used to run so many government systems? Nobody knows, because you could rewrite all that stuff in an afternoon. Like, do you realize you could take a lot of those giant old COBOL applications and have, even ChatGPT could turn one into a modern application in 10 minutes. Like, the amount of money that is poured into not translating those is absolutely crazy. I've only ever written a hello world in COBOL. I've never really used it. It's so bad. So beyond bad. We're getting a little bit slow here, guys. Oh yeah, we're losing some people. Should we stay on? Should we call it a night? It's awfully early, but if it's slow, I don't want to keep people just hanging out either. I do have work to do. I do have kids to hang out with. You guys have lives, but if you guys want to stay on, we'll stay on. I just want to know what you guys think. But if we're going to stay on, you guys got to be talkative. I got to have people to respond to. How long have we been on? Only 2.5 hours. My gosh. I am interested to see if id Group is going to buy JetBrains and fall in love with it or what. Or if you're going to be like, $290? This is like barely upgraded VS Code. Who would pay for this? Oh, you guys are very quiet. I don't want to have dead air either. That's not a great way to do the live stream. All right, assuming no one else is going to be on, we do have the Griteria going on, so we've lost a number of people to that. We had a good group, just people have had to call it a night. So assuming no one else is going to be jumping on, I am going to say that it's a quiet night. Go enjoy some time with your families. Make sure to tell people about next Thursday's show. We're really excited that a Kindle is on its way to Marcela. We will get her on the show and show that off for sure in 2 weeks when that's arrived. That is amazing. Thanks to everyone for the idea, for Luke for executing, and so forth. And without further ado,